everybody.
Hi.
I'm Chris Hewitt, and on behalf of Universal Pictures, I'd like to welcome you all, and these people who are sneaking in behind me, to the Paul press conference. Stacey Bateman, Chola Trulio, Greg Matola, Kristen Wiig, and 3 other people who are still hanging around outside. Here we go. Sigourney Weaver, everybody.
Hello.
Mr. Simon Pegg. Yep, just wave your lights. And last but not least, Mr. Nick Frost. There he is. There you go. We all good? We all settled? Excellent. I'm going to throw it up to the floor very, very quickly, but first I'm going to hit these guys with a very hard-hitting, tough question. What's your favourite movie, Alien? It's a big one.
My favorite movie, Alien?
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, I'll go last on that. Paul is my favorite.
There we go.
Alien.
Can't say Paul.
No, except for Paul. The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Oh, think he's named it?
Sure. No, he was human.
Yeah. Well, he's a ghost, wasn't he? A monster.
Does it count? That's my answer. God damn it!
You're sticking with it. I'm a purist. I'm going with Alien. The Alien. Yeah. I'm going with my favorite Alien.
Wow.
Is Alien.
It's a good choice. Great.
I'm gonna go with Yoda.
With what?
That's really
Goes
nerdy.
Jabba the
I'm
Hutt.
extremely dorky.
Kristen, I think you were going Yoda as well.
Yeah. Is Chewbacca an alien?
Yeah. Well, but he's a human. Chewbacca's a human.
This is going well. I'm going to pick him.
Good, Chewbacca. Simon.
I think in Starship Troopers, in the scene where they're attacking the base, about 5 rows back on the left, one of those little that guy.
I like that, Carl.
He's giving it more than the others, you know, when you can tell. He's got something. I never saw him again, weirdly.
Sigourney, can you
Well, I
say?
always like the pod people, you know, the version of yourself that's completely fearless. It's just sleeping under your bed, and while you're brushing your teeth becomes you, and then suddenly you have an expression like that, and your spouse can't tell. I just love that concept.
78 version or the 53?
I like them both.
My spouse would tell. Should know.
The sign of a good marriage.
Yeah, or a bad one. I think E.T. I think no one said E.T. All the lovely water aliens from the Abyss, they're quite nice.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, thank you.
Fantastic. Now we've covered that. I'm going to throw it over. Put your hands up if you want to ask a question. And there's a guy in the front row
That's a
right
big
here.
spectrum.
Simon and Nick, how much was the script influenced by the cast saying yes? And how much do you have to actually check with, because there's obviously references and direct quotes from films. So do you ever have to actually go to somebody and say, can we use this, or is it just the English language so it's
It's names, isn't it? We had a few names that we had to change.
Yeah.
Because there was kind of one Graham Willie spelled Graham, and because of him, we had to change Simon's name to be spelled Graeme. So it's just kind of tiny weird things like that. Because they couldn't find that Graham Willie to say, do you mind if we use the name Graham? So yeah, you have to.
He might sue.
Yeah.
But I mean, in terms of the script, well, obviously when the cast comes on board, you want to play to everyone's strengths. So you want everyone to bring whatever they want to bring to it and not feel too constricted. But in terms of, well, you're probably the most famous line is Sigourney's "Get away from me, you bitch," which Blythe says, which I did. I think I said to you on the night, you know, we're going to use one of your most famous lines against you, and you were like, "Bring it on."
I was so drunk.
I know you. It was so cute when Blythe was kind of asking you how to say it, and like, because she wanted to get it right.
Yeah, if you gave her a line reading, and Nick and I were just like geeking out like crazy. Just thinking all our Christmases had come at once. I think the script is very much a love letter to there's nothing I think anyone could take offence at that were involved in those movies that we referenced, so we didn't really feel the need to. I mean, it was the Spielberg cameo was his idea. It wasn't even like we didn't even ask him. He said, "Hey, why don't I be in it?" And
We said no.
we went, "I don't know." All right.
And there's a guy behind.
It's a very fun movie, but a semi-serious question. Do you think you're going to get any flack from the Bible Belt in America for...
Who doesn't get flat from the Bible Belt? I don't know. I think I said to Simon earlier, if it's a road movie with an alien in it, you know, if they're going to get annoyed at that, then, you know.
It's not. If you've got, I mean, if you have faith, then a film about a dope smoking alien isn't going to affect that. It's just another way of seeing. We were really interested in the idea that someone could have their belief system shattered by a single moment, and that's why Ruth is Kristen's character is a creationist. It's a very specific kind of sort of wing of Christianity, which you can't have a film with an alien in and it not be counter to that idea. You know, even Mac and Me is an anti-creationist film because there's an alien in it. It's not. We're not being anti-religion. It's just that's the universe that the film takes place in. Paul, at one point, I think the line was lost in you, said, "Look, I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying it probably isn't. I'm not saying, but certainly that particular that sort of dogma can't exist if Paul exists." And we love the idea of Ruth suddenly just changing from being one thing to another in a second. And that was it. It wasn't a kind of crusade against.
And also, in the interest of equal time, you know, the scales are a bit swayed. I mean, you'd have to go a long time, make a lot of movies to balance the scales on, you know, people thinking that, well, maybe that's not the way everything happened. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, come on.
There wasn't like a massive atheist protest when the Ten Commandments came out. There wasn't a protest at my local school at the Nativity play this year.
That's silly.
Just a film.
Question for Nick and Simon. There's some great references to cinema magic, but I was wondering if there were any that didn't make the final cut.
Deep Throat.
We shot it too. I don't know. I mean, I think there were lots and lots of things that kind of didn't make it, but in the, you know, in the bigger picture, things that Simon and I thought will absolutely make the cut, or will absolutely shoot it. You get to a point you think, well, it's not. We don't need it. You know, I think it's about taking a piece of work and trimming it down until what you've got essentially is a very tight, very good 100 minutes that, you know, hopefully a lot of people will laugh at. And we had to kind of say to ourselves throughout the writing that even though this joke was very funny, the audience will never know that joke didn't make it. You know, it was all about the finished film, essentially.
And we didn't sort of just do stuff for the sake of it either. The film is kind of referential because the idea is that Paul has influenced every science fiction film ever, you know, so it's like we're retroactively ripping everything off by saying it was all Paul's idea. It's very clever when you think about it. But I don't think there's anything that we thought, oh, we could have got that in.
Joe, the poster says Seth Rogen as Paul, but you actually sort of played Paul yourself, didn't you?
I did. I was on my knees for most of the shoot, but still kept my dignity. That was the Deep Throat reference that they were talking about.
But they gave you knee pads, so that's...
And yes, I did have knee pads, so that made things a bit easier. It was great to work with Simon and Nick for 2.5 months. They've been such fans of theirs since Shaun of the Dead, so I was thrilled to both be the stand-in and play O'Reilly, who is a fanboy with a badge. Like, you know, this mission in the movie for O'Reilly is probably the biggest thing that's happened to him since he saw Lethal Weapon 2 and was thrilled when that came out.
But we really couldn't have done it without Joe because Seth was shooting Green Hornet, so we couldn't have him on set. So we recorded Seth doing all of the scenes with Simon and Nick in pre-production. Joe was very serious and watched the tape and saw what Seth was doing and channeled it, but also then improv'd and gave a real performance that Nick and Simon could play against, as opposed to just having a script supervisor read lines. And I think that's a big part of why it has life to it, that it doesn't feel like they're just standing around looking at a stick with 2 ping pong balls for eyes, which they were.
We did that too.
And yeah, we did that too. And then, in fact, when Seth came back to re-record his lines, he stole a lot of Joe's improvs. You know, it was a weird collaboration.
It
but
was.
But because Seth and Joe know each other and they know each other's style, it just made it richer.
I find watching it now, I was saying to Sigourney just a minute ago, you watch it and you think, was he there? Was he there? I mean, because it kind of feels like he was, and I think that's got a lot to do with the fact that we had someone who was able to fill in with enough life for us to bounce off. It's very hard sometimes when you have to do lines with the script supervisor because the other actor isn't there, because the script supervisors are brilliant script supervisors, but they're not always brilliant actors. Whereas we had someone who could give us the right sort of, you know, bounce board to have the emotions that the scene required.